So someone has to be trained when they're giving feedback. Yeah.
Very good. All right, we're coming towards the end. I'm going to ask Hannah, who's been successful and gone through these assessments. What advice would you give to the students of today who are apply for your job?
But I think it's important when you're looking for a program or what your next is after college is to really don't just mass apply to a load of graduate programs, which I think a lot of students do panic when you see your friends all getting onto graduate programs, is to look for companies that you align with. Think to yourself, would I be happy there? Would I be good at the role? And then go ahead with the process. Just be authentic, I think, with yourself. Try not to tell the little white lies that, you're very numerical and you're not, and you're applying for an accountant role that you've no interest in. I think it's so important to be honest with yourself, and I was that during the post-grade process, and I'm really happy in my role. It's kind of what I expected and more from the line of it. But I think it is just that piece of telling students to be authentic, and I suppose it's hard to know what you want when you're coming to the end of college, but know what you don't want.
Thank you. So it's been honest about your responses. That will be the payoff in the long run. Yeah, very good. Ulton?
Hannah said something earlier, which is really important. What companies looking for, you be very careful on that, because the personality traits that companies almost always measure is someone is agreeable, whether they can get on with people and will put the group ahead of themselves, or whether they're assertive, they put themselves ahead of the group when needed, and people can be very agreeable or very assertive. But sometimes you might say, oh, well, a company is looking for people, but not necessarily. A quick show of hands, let's say cabin crew. So you're working in cabin crew 30,000 feet up. Do you need to be agreeable or assertive in that particular role? We'd say agreeable. Assertive, more so than agreeable. But then you're selling. If you're working cabin crew, you're selling the airline to customers to come back if they have a good experience. So I'd say if we had 100 people here from airlines, there wouldn't be agreement on this. So I've done this exercise in my class. Every year we never agree on what the company's actually looking for. So you have to be very careful. It depends. It's very, very hard to predict, and Claire will tell you it's just answer authentically and truthfully about yourself, as opposed to trying to, this is what I think they want.
Good. So it's that message again about being authentic when we with our students. The best policy is the truth at the end of the day. Yes, Claire?
Yeah, I might just add on that, similar to what you were saying, you get the same, you could have a cognitive ability assessment and a company would hire you and another company wouldn't. So don't try to game the assessments, because you don't know what the company is looking for. Another thing if candidates are preparing to take the assessments is to do the preparation. So a lot of test providers will provide practice sites or practice questions before. So do definitely prepare, make sure that you're familiar with the assessments, the layout, how you're going to navigate them, and the type of questions to be asked. But they're not the types of assessments that you can study for. So don't spend too much time studying, and also make sure that you're not paying an external third party to practice. It actually isn't going to be anything to do with the real test. So go to the test provider and see if they have practice.
And will your test disclose that it's Aon that's providing the test?
They should, yeah. Ours do anyway. They should, if they ask, yeah. And for all graduates, we would include a link in the email to the practice site that we have.
Oh,
so don't prepare, but don't study, because they're not knowledge-based assessments. And then another thing is to just believe in your science. But what we see a lot of the time is graduates would say they just have this idea in their head that they're not good at maths, so they get sent a numerical reasoning test, they straight away write themselves off, and that will show up in their performance. So numerical reasoning tests aren't designed to find maths geniuses. They're designed to to see if you can look at charts and graphs, get information. So it's not actually maths, but you do see if people go in with a negative point in how they're going to perform, it shows up in their performance. So for people just to take a step back, believe they can do it, and then a general kind of test taking strategy is just to not spend any too much time on any one question. So if they're struggling, kind of make the best guess to move on.
Right. So any final tips for people preparing for psychometrics? I'll go to Siobhan.
I'm going to say what people have said here. So what Hannah said, be authentic, and to Claire Knowlton's piece in terms of just preparation. In graduate, the vast majority employers who do these things are really transparent about our selection process. And I say that if you look at our website, for example, we will say this is what's involved in the selection process at each stage. We talk about the online assessments, say this is Aon's practice site, go there, practice. So there's a lot of resources out there for students. And Hannah, if you're loads of different companies, it's going to be more challenging for them to do so. So if they can narrow down kind of the field or the area in which they're interested in working in, that will absolutely make more focused in terms of the applications that they are making, and also more aligned in terms of where they actually want to grow their career. They may not necessarily know the specific area, be it buying, be it marketing, or whatever what that area may look like, but at least if they've got a good sense in terms of the type of the sector, if they know their values and what kind of company that is as well, they align with their own, that will give them more a sense to be more engaged and motivated to actually put the time into the selection process. So really look at the employer resources that are available and just make the most. That would be one of the key elements that I'd say.
We'll move to Q&A. If we've got maybe 2 minutes. Do we have 2 minutes?
We